Welcome to Going in the South Part, the podcast where we always have ourselves a time, and this week we're here to review the 12th episode of Season 5. It is Here Comes the Neighborhood. I'm Dando.
And I am Guy. Hello, Dando. How are you?
Oh, got more rich kid voice. So good.
That's my default mode, my natural voice.
It's just so great. I'm not going to skip to my favourite moment. I am. Will Smith's kids. Amazing, right?
Fantastic.
That's a little teaser for the favourite moments. But this episode here, well, first of all, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yes, it is Monday morning here in sunny Geelong. Feeling downright Arctic, but I had a very nice weekend, thank you. As Dando and I were talking about this off air. It's actually very appropriate that we're talking about this episode and talking about the themes of this episode, because I had what you might call a rich boy weekend. It's a lovely Louisa's birthday today.
Yeah.
So this is a day worth celebrating. So happy birthday to the wonderful woman in my life. I adore you wholeheartely. And we had a nice celebratory weekend. They threw a ball in her honour. Well, they didn't really, but Lou's kids go to the Geelong College, and they held their winter ball out on the pier. Very fancy black tie event. Lou looked wonderful in her dress. I drank too much red wine and danced badly to the cover band doing Run to Paradise and Don't Stop Believing.
Say the band name.
Good Faces for Radio.
Good Faces for Radio. They are, so here in Geelong we have a local pub gaming, like pokey. We call them pokies here. What you slot machines in the States?
Gaming machines.
It's just like a local sports bar kind of place called the Sphinx, and it's where your 40-plus-year-olds go.
It has a big sphinx in it.
It's shaped like a sphinx. Google it. Sphinx Geelong. Basically, I live down the road from it, about, 500 metres away from the Sphinx?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty close. Anyway, the Good Faces for Radio are like the Friday night cover band for there. So,
yeah.
Quality cover band. But it's funny because we're talking off air, and Guy goes, I went to this black tie ball. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What'd you do on Saturday night, Richard?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I was in my black tie and, yes, enjoying the company of Geelong's best and brightest.
I can't even remember what I was doing on Saturday night. This is what dad brain does to you, mate. I can't remember. I know I watched the cats play with Elliot and Holly. Nicola got her hair done, and I made sure I complimented them when she walked in the door.
Yes, you weren't watching actual felines play with your children.
No,
you watched the Geelong Cats.
Yes. I'm wearing the Geelong Cats, yeah. I always subconsciously put this on the Monday after a Cats win.
There you go. And we won.
We won.
It was a round of AFL football. We played North in Hobart, is that
North
right?
Melbourne in Tasmania, that's right, yeah.
It truly is the Australian Football League now.
Speaking of Lions, though, I thought that was the weak part of this episode. I didn't quite get the Lions. I'm sure there's something there that I'm missing, but I'm watching this going, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm just going to do a really literal reading in that, we view lions as just these majestic lords of the jungle kind of thing, and they just turn out to be goofballs.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, with a lowbrow sense of humor, and I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. They're shoehorned in the go live with the lions then, just so they can do this whole final act, and I thought it was just really odd,
ridiculous. Yeah, it felt like they'd written themselves into a bit of a corner or a bit of a quandary with Tolkien in his situation. And
so what was the point of that aspect of the story? So he doesn't get along. He realizes he doesn't get along with the poor kids, doesn't get along with the rich kids. He doesn't think he gets along anywhere.
Yeah.
Did it really need the lion part? Because he gets to the lions and he goes, I don't fit in here either. You know what? Maybe I do like those rich kids more. Why did he have to go to the lions to realise that?
I have no idea why.
It doesn't really make sense to me, because he could have just realised, oh, these rich kids are even more annoying. I'd much prefer the poor kids. It just seemed odd.
Otherwise, yeah, you've got some gaps in the story where it's like, what happened to Token?
Yeah, I'm sure he could have fit in more Garrison stuff in there just to sort of pad it out.
Please
the lion stuff. Yes, more Garrison. But that aside, I thought this was a fantastic episode.
I had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, obviously touching on the subject of the very, very touchy subject of racism and
wait a minute, what? What?
What?
What?
What?
Racism. Talking about class disparity. You're reading racism? Dando, that's pretty racist. It's people like you. You see race in everything.
Yeah, I'm like, surely he got this. I was like, he's going with it. He's going with his bit. He's going with it.
If I do anything, I commit to the bit.
You committed to that when you had me. I thought, hang on.
Hey, wait a minute.
Did I watch the same episode?
We need to do more collaboration before we start talking, as opposed to just, No. This was a very thinly veiled analogy for racism.
Yes, and still as prevalent today. Not as, I mean, we've come a long way, but still nowhere near far enough. Still,
I'm wondering how
positive steps are being taken, at least.
I'm wondering how the terminally online would view the representations of black people in this episode, sort of, and
voiced by white people.
Voiced by, and given very traditionally white snooty voices.
Yeah, and made fun of in the sense that, Snoop Dogg, when he sings, talks like this. Oh, hi, Will. Very Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
First of all, I just love that Will Smith referred to him as Snooperoo.
I thought it was Snoo Snoo. Was it Snooperoo?
I think there's a lot of.
I thought he called him Snoo Snoo. What's up, Snoo Snoo?
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, tackled a hot button topic in the, I guess, traditional Parker and Stone way of being quite outrageous with it, but also quite sensible with it. And then hitting you with a real sting at the tail just at the very end. That
end bit was just, because you're watching this going, so I guess you're hiding behind the class with your racism sort of anecdotes here, but it's just like, oh, shit. Are we just going to not acknowledge the fact that this has all been about racism? Oh, Garrison. Because Garrison the entire time wasn't doing it because he didn't like rich people.
He didn't like
who they were.
Correct.
And I heard in the commentary that Trey said they're going to start the episode with just Garrison going, "Gers." So if you played it on a loop.
Oh, my goodness. Trey, you cheeky devil.
But I just thought that, as you said, this is just classic Trey and Matt style of touching on a very, very hot button subject, which will never go away, I don't think. No. As long as we're a human race, it'll never go away. But doing it in a way where both sides come out just as bad as the other.
Well, the thing is, you're right in saying that it'll never go away. And look, we all aspire to have a very level playing field for just about everybody. But look, we're human beings, we're flawed, we're fucked up, and we're always going to try and find points of differentiation, whether it is race, whether it is class, whether it is how much you own, whether it is where you shop.
Yeah.
We're just going to be like, you see you wearing that Cats hoodie, huh? Okay, then that's you do you, Dando, I guess. Guy's wearing his North Face polar fleece again. Oh, okay then. See where he shops.
I find since I became a dad, I've become far less judgmental of people. I used to judge people all the time. I would let things like, you get on a plane, right, and a kid would cry, and you go, "Oh, just shut the kid up." And now I look back and go, "You silly, silly man."
There are times when, empathy is going to leap to the fore. And I think you're right. It's one of those things where, say, oh, well, now, as you said, now that I have kids, or let's roll back the tape a little bit. A famous / infamous example is when former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said, as a father of daughters, and well, my wife Jenny talked to me about, you've got to view it the way women view it. Like, oh, that really opened my eyes. He was, dragged for that. But, there are some times when empathy is not necessarily a natural response. You do have to get prompted every once in a while. It's like, maybe see it from this other person's point of view, because, you're like being on a plane, this kid won't stop screaming. It's like, oh my God.
Imagine being the parent, though.
Oh, yeah. You'd be absolutely mortified.
As long as the parent's trying, that's all. Because sometimes you see the kids running around and you think, sort your fucking kids out. I get that you're tired, but at least make an effort. At least occasionally go, "Jeffrey." No, what's the name of a shithead kid? What's
Tristan?
Tristan?
I shouldn't say that. Because,
Jacob.
Actually, I shouldn't say that because one of Lou's best friends, her son is Tristan. He's a really good guy.
Not a shithead?
Not a shithead.
Yet.
So, no. He's a young adult.
Mm.
Yeah, he's not a shithead. Oh. To the best of my understanding.
Well, you and I became shitheads. We weren't shithead kids, were we? Oh, you were a bit of a shithead, weren't you?
I wouldn't say a shithead. I'd say I was not even a loose cannon. What's the word I'm looking for? Mischievous. I was rambunctious.
But in this episode here, who did you relate to more? The South Park kids or the rich kids? Because you guys weren't rich like Will Smith rich but you had money when you were a kid.
Well,
compared to us commoners in Geelong.
I was a commoner in Geelong, but I didn't relate to the rich kids.
They were very over
but
the top.
they were
yeah.
OTT, very much.
I'm just like, baseball would be cricket here, like with sticks and pine cones and chopped up hot dogs for lunch. I'm like, that's what being a kid's all about.
Absolutely. Look, I certainly had more of that than, I was never thinking, it's like eating caviar with that blinis or something like that.
Yeah.
No, so I didn't relate to the rich kids, but I can't imagine who would relate to these rich kids.
They were
Everything
a
was
stereotype. They were just like
everything was-
cartoonish, weren't they?
Yeah, everyone was drawn as kind of caricatures, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when they were talking about, when the South Park kids were talking about, oh, look, they're playing polo. That's a ridiculous game. Let's play our favourite game of kicking each other in the nuts.
Can you remember when this episode aired, whether it was touched on the fact that it was only black people, not all voiced by white people? Was that?
No, it wasn't a deal.
And I guess that wasn't even really an issue in 2001, wasn't it? Because look at the Simpsons cast, for example.
Yeah.
It was like an all-white cast.
No, I mean, I think we were of a mind back then that voice casting was colourblind.
Yeah. It's just, if you're a good voice for the character, you do it.
Yeah.
Which I can see the pros and cons of it all. But let's look into that rabbit hole, shall we? Let's get into our favourite moments.
That's a rabbit hole we'd never escape.
Yes, let's get into our favourite moments.
Plenty of them.
We've already touched on Will Smith's kids, but just the, come little boy, show us how to play your mountain games.
I think that's the standout line, isn't it?
Or the, please daddy, please. Oh, please daddy.
Yes, Daddy. Yeah.
$20 million.
Did you ever refer to your dad as Daddy when you were growing up? But
Maybe when I was a kid, not
Maybe
like I
when you-
remember.
yeah,
It was always just dad.
Margaret Mary, God bless her, my mother, to this day will still write "Mummy Dearest" on my birthday cards.
Yeah.
And it was Mummy for a while, but then
But you're a mama's boy, aren't you?
I am a mama's boy, and proudly so. Our listeners will probably not be aware of the movie "Mommy Dearest." Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of it.
There was a terrific star of old Hollywood named Joan Crawford. She played, strong women in these melodramas. She was a big Hollywood star.
I know who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people might not. It's
Yeah,
not just you and I.
I know, yeah.
In the late 70s, early 80s, her adopted daughter came out with a book called Mommy Dearest, in which she said, Joan Crawford was kind of a bitch to me, kind of abusive. And they made a movie of it as well, which it put the phrase "Mummy Dearest" into the lexicon as kind of like bad mother.
Oh, wow.
And
it just stained her forever?
kind of, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
people still recognise, wow, she was a fantastic movie star. Probably not that good off camera. Ever since then,
Probably 80% of Hollywood.
oh, probably. Dan and I were sharing stories about how off camera about various individuals that we've either had dealings with or have heard about. Woo! But as I said to Dando before I even started the conversation, this is off the record. But ever since she saw that movie, Mum signs my birthday cards "Mummy Dearest"
Yeah.
with quote marks around it as a little gag.
I had this memory because for some reason my dad I don't think he ever did it forever, but he just started calling my nan, like his mum. So my nan, she's gone now, but he'd call her mother. I just have this memory, right, of him saying, "Mother, do this." And nan turned around going, "Well, yeah, stop calling me fucking mother." I was like, oh shit. Nan means business. Nan just did not want to be called mother. She's like, "Stop calling me fucking mother." It's like, I've heard, I was like, seeing your dad get told off by his mum. It was like, it just stayed with me. I was like, wow.
It really would do kind of a number on
I was
you.
like, I guess that's his mum telling him off, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was calling my dad Pop for a while. Or
Pop, okay.
Yeah,
So
or-
that just seems old to me. If you call Pop, you'd feel old, right?
I think I probably watched The Godfather too much, and I was like trying to be Michael Corleone, and Dad was Don Vito, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll get there, Pop."
Did you say Bob or Pop? I want a Pop.
What do you think I said? So yeah, favourite moments. Something I enjoyed was when Carmen's being called on to present his presentation or his project. Yeah, but he's getting called. Like, "Stand by, please." I'd love to do that if a teacher's calling on you. It's like, "1 second,
Yeah.
stand by."
I also like that I'm gonna keep your parents.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? I didn't
He didn't?
like that.
Bit of an
It felt not inside baseball, but it's like, "Oh, you like that one, didn't you? Okay, well, we'll throw in a." It felt a little MCU to me, or a little Deadpool and Wolverine, which I've yet to see, in all honesty. But felt like, you get what that means, though, don't you? Yeah, we did that episode not long ago.
Speaking of MCU, hey guys, we're so desperate. We're bringing back old RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr., why do you love money?
Yeah. must be getting paid. Whatever he got paid for Endgame, double it.
I imagine so. Look, it was an interesting reveal at Comic-Con. I mean, I think some people knew that he was that there were talks and that it was in the works. But for him to come out in the mask, to reveal the mask and to do the whole RDJ, actually to do the Iron Man pose from Iron Man where he holds the arms out like that. So it's bold and it's very easy to see it as, oh boy.
It basically, what it says is that we've run out of ideas.
Yeah, it's like we concede defeat. Or
But at least, I guess the positive is they've conceded, we're fucked up. We know what you guys want. We're just going to give it to you.
Yeah, or it's like, well, okay, well, how are you going to present Doctor Doom now? What character is he going to, what sort of personality is he
Well, it's going to have to be some sort of like
is he going to be a
alternate timeline of Iron Man?
Yeah, a sort of an alternate Tony Stark. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's what I want.
I think it's just been too long now where I just like, that was a cool moment, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, we'll see. And but Dan and I are sort of going, we'll see. It's like, we're super hyped. It's more
the Marvel fans are super hyped because it's like, it's still alive. It's still good. It's still good. It's just a little rehashed. It's still good. It's still good.
What else did I enjoy from this episode? I did like Tolkien talking to his parents about...
Mother. Did he call him Mother?
I don't think he did.
No, I didn't know.
No.
They make sure that he doesn't talk like a preppy, don't they?
No, I think they're upper middle class as opposed to upper class.
Oh, well, he's rich, but he doesn't act that way.
Yeah. But when he's talking about why do we have more money, or why are things different between me and my friends? And I think Tolkien's dad explains, well, your mother, for instance, works as a chemist at a pharmaceutical company. Your friend Cartman, his mother is a crack whore. One pays more than the other. Yeah. Hard to argue with that logic.
I really love the animation here, and it gets used again in the Wheel of Fortune scene, right? So when they're all staring at the supermarket, and you just see this guy from the side go,
I've got him down.
That is so awesome.
The dude leaning into frame. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, I had it on my notes, but not as one of my favorites. But you're right. There's a lot of favorite moments stuff in this. Everything about the voices, Mountain Games, hilarious. Just the weird, twisted logic to get to these very obvious racist symbols.
Oh yeah,
we're going to put a lowercase t, and it stands for time to leave.
And like Kobe, sorry, time to leave.
Time to leave.
It'll be a capital next time.
And of course, because it's 2024 and he is persona non grata, any mention of the cos is good. Like, we're up to the zoo to get there. Oh, sorry.
Yellow yogurt.
Yellow pudding.
Yellow pudding, that's right.
I don't know if we're allowed to do this. I mean, but hey, they did it on this episode of South Park.
Also Puff Daddy's kids. P. Diddy Puff Puff or whatever.
I was like, Dando's not going to try and pull this as a trivia question.
I was going to after those two, but I wrote them down though. I'll try and find them. When we get to them, we'll talk about them.
We'll talk about them.
But just like it's like what are those Russian dolls?
Little babushka dolls. Yeah. But this concludes Guy's favorite moments.
That concludes mine as well. Yeah. So the guy staring from the side and Will Smith's kids and Snoop Dogg. Yeah. All right. Trivia time, Mr. Davis. Hit me with your first question.
What is in Token's lunch?
Ooh. When does he have his lunch?
Well, Cartman talks about you've got certain things in your lunchbox.
Yes. Is it like it's a seafood of some kind, like lobster? Is lobster in there?
Lobster is in there.
Lobster, that's the only one I can remember.
He gets crab cakes and lobster tails.
That's right. Lobster for dinner. You went to space. Sure, you never been. My first question for you is, what aisle are the poor kids' clothes in, and what are they next to?
You would find them in aisle 6 next to the pretzels at J-Mart.
Yes, J-Mart. I'm watching this going, man, is this what people who are just like, not insanely rich, but who have money think of me when I like shop at Target and stuff? You know, like, do they just look down at us and go, Target, Kmart? Because we always
maybe back in 2000. When did this episode air?
2001.
I don't know, man. I've still got this jacket that I bought from Kmart back in like 1997 or 1998.
And just fits so well.
It's my favorite jacket.
We all have a favorite jacket.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It looks good.
I'll occasionally put it on, like, it's got the pocket, not inside, but, you know, how it'll have the pocket near the near where you zip it up and you slide your wallet in there. Yeah. It's not an inside pocket, but it's a sneaky pocket. It's got enough pockets for the phone. Dig my hands
World's greatest jacket.
It really is. You dig your hands right into these pockets, like, collar comes up.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk.
Just to the right height. It's like, ooh, my neck's covered. Oh, I can zip. Oh, man. Love that jacket. I'm going to wear it next time.
Wear it for the show.
Will do.
Might not be on this podcast, but we want to have many podcasts here at the Four Finger Discount Network.
That's true. We're putting them on YouTube these days.
Yes. Well, clips. I'm still tossing and turning. Like, what do we do? Because, we're going to give our patrons something. So that
as opposed to quality content. Okay,
at the moment, if you're a supporter of ours on Patreon, you get the full episodes. So basically on our YouTube, you're going to be finding our clips. So clips, the best moments, sort of like short down versions of the shows. If you watch the full episodes, you got to be a supporter of ours on Patreon to get full access to the full episode video reviews.
That's correct.
Yeah. I think we'll keep it that way.
Indeed. I think I was going to ask you a trivia question.
Do it for me.
What is the signature on the little slugger bat?
It's BB, isn't it? Like,
It's Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. I don't know who that is.
He was a baseballer. Apparently, he was...
Apparently, he was a baseballer.
No, I was trying to find the right way to phrase it. He enhanced his performance, shall we say.
Okay. That's a shame. What is the name of the... I only had two questions. What is the name of the main lion?
Oh, is it Azrael?
Aslan.
Aslan. Oh, from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes. I guess that's what the gag was.
I guess so. Yeah. And
Pull this thorn. He just like doing the voice. Hi, child. It's all just funny voices.
Yeah.
South Park, half the jokes are just the voice, mate.
Speaking of lions,
yeah.
Aslan offers Token a stick of gum near the end. What flavour?
Ooh. I'm going to say... No idea. What?
It's spearmint.
Spearmint. That's the classic. All right, let's get into our review of Here Comes the Neighborhood, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. The original air date was November 28th, 2001, written by Trey Parker, directed by Eric Stowe.
A.K.A. Butters.
Yeah, A.K.A. Butters, yeah. Did a fine job with this episode, I must say. Right, so the episode kicks off with Butters showing off his school project. It's a volcano. Goes off a little bit too early.
Yeah, it's just sticky.
Yeah, so he only gets a check, which is like a C. Cartman gets called up next. Unfortunately, he has not organised anything. There's been moments in time where you've realised, you got to school and gone, shit. I knew there was an assignment today. Have you had that moment?
Oh, yeah. I've certainly done homework in class.
And I would always just try and come up with an excuse. I feel like I had enough credits in the bank where I could pull a few, maybe once, maybe twice a year going, I'm really sorry. Like, I completely forgot. I left it at home. It's done. I promise it's done. And the teacher would be like, just fucking get out of my face. Okay. Whatever. Just bring it tomorrow. Like,
it's the school equivalent of an RDO.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I feel like
you've got enough credits in the bank.
It's like you're correct. I think twice a year you can use it. If you're a decent kid. If you're a shithead, they're like, you're fucked.
This is a pattern of behaviour, Dan, and we won't stand for it. It's like, no, you're generally a solid dude. Okay, we'll let this one slide.
Yeah. So he gets check minus, I think.
Check minus.
Yes. And he says, I'll make it your parents. Then Token explains how, he's got this big epic weather thing set up on his laptop, his dad's laptop.
This is, when the internet was cool.
And when laptops were, not every kid had a laptop.
No. Yeah. I mean, I remember this laptop I used to use in the 90s that was basically the size of a briefcase.
Yeah.
We all thought it was just the shit.
Well, Nicola and I did an episode of The One of Our Friends, check it out, podcast. I do it with my wife, Nicola, where Chandler just bought this new laptop, and it's like a giant, like you said, briefcase. It's it's like 512 megabyte of RAM.
Golly. But yeah, I mean, oh wow, no, I was able to access information on the internet, but I also then printed it out for you using the color printer.
Remember when just going online was a big deal? It's like, I'm going online. Now we're constantly connected to the internet.
All we do is online.
We spend more time on the internet than we do in our real world now. But there was a time where you had to, it's almost like when you put a record on. It's like you had to get the record out, put the record on. It's like the internet. You had to plug it in.
You had to disconnect your phone.
Yeah, you had to set it up. It was a moment. It was an event.
A journey into another world.
Yeah, very big time, very good time indeed. But now it's just internet's internet. But the kids are just like. Yeah, well, the only reason he's getting the check plus, was it check plus? I think he gets because his family's rich, and he's like, well, I'm not rich. And do you buy the fact that Token never realized he was rich? Surely he must have realized he had more things than others, but I guess he didn't because
I think he viewed himself as having a bit more, but I think there's a difference between that and being rich. Yeah. And also, rich people never say they're rich.
Cartman is getting. Where'd you shop? Our money exchange. You have a pool table and a sprinkler system.
Sprinkler system.
The Token goes to ask his parents, like, why do we have more money? And as you explained earlier, I just love and some pay more than others.
Yeah. by the way,
I thought, well, Crackle does pay.
yeah, that's not top dollar,
No,
but
well, it depends. Depends how good you are.
I love that Token's dad's reading the paper when Token rocks up, and the headline is, "It continues to happen."
Is that what it says?
That's all you need. All you need to know.
That's so good, isn't it?
But indeed, one pays more
Yes.
than the other.
But he just wants to eat mac and cheese and shop at J-Mart. His parents are like, I did like though that they just did not want to do it, but they did it for their son. So they took them to J-Mart. They feel so uncomfortable. They're walking around. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Token's like so excited. Just looking out the window. They go, where's the valet? There's no valet. Give the guy $20. Look after it. Then they walk in. So the lighting here, is this not a thing in rich stores? Like, what is this kind of thing? It's fluorescent lighting, Dad.
I think that may be the case, actually.
I know that they have times at the supermarket now where the fluorescent lighting is turned down.
They have, quiet time and less sensory invasion, shall we say.
Because you walk into a place like Big W and it's just like, ow! It's just so bright all the time, isn't it?
That would preclude me going into Big W.
Never go to Big W?
Oh, hang on. The only time I go to Big W is to, buy my laser region-free Blu-ray player. So, I'll see you guys in 3 years when this one breaks down.
It's 3 times the price.
It's like, oh, you jacked up the price again.
But it is true, though. You walk into a supermarket or into a store, usually a department store, if it came out or something, it's like, shit, it is bright in here, isn't it? Yeah.
That's true. But you go into some kind of boutique, and generally they'll have muted or mood lighting.
Mood
or
lighting.
something like that.
Yes, but they're not used to it, of course. Then they the worker,
Yeah.
oh, shit,
Yeah.
extra pressure. Yes. And they go there, check it out. Mum's concerned about the brand. What brand is it? I don't care, Mum. Like, I've never been one for brand. Maybe when I was a little kid, I remember there was these things in Australia. I don't know whether you remember that. It was Dada, D-A-D-A was the brand. Dada?
No.
Dada coats, right?
It's not DVDA, the Parker and Stone band.
No. So they'll similar coats to what you would wear, soccer coats. Like that kind of fabric.
I know the type.
Like
Gore-Tex?
It's Adidas, isn't it? I say Adidas, but Adidas sports jackets.
We all say Adidas.
Yeah, Adidas jackets, but it was Dada. I don't know why, but where I grew up in Norland, everyone had a Dada jacket. And I'm like, I just want a Dada jacket. And Mum's like, they're like $150. I'm not buying it for you. But they'd have rip-offs at the Sunday market. I remember going to Sunday market. Mum get me his $20 Dada jacket. I'm like, put it on straight away. I'm like, I'm fucking cool in my Dada jacket.
And was it an actual Dada rip-off? It had Dada on it?
It looked like a Dada jacket.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what the kids these days call dupes.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you aware of this phenomenon?
You've discussed this on the podcast, actually. Yeah.
Have I now?
Yes.
Okay, then. I just like saying dupe.
Dupes. But I remember then it was a moment where, when Kyle was trying to be cool with Pokemon?
Oh, yeah.
So I rock up with this fucking Dada jacket and my friends were just like, we don't wear those anymore. And I was like, no!
That's $20 I'll never get
I
back.
walked in feeling so cool. My friends are like, we don't wear those anymore. And I'm like, oh shit. Now we're a Dada jacket all day.
How did they decide we don't wear these anymore? They had to be like patient zero. The coolest dude in school.
But you know what it was? It was. So I had 3 friends, right? And they befriended this kid who was like a bit cooler than us, right? And he sort of dictated what was cool without my friendship group. And because he didn't wear them anymore, my friends just decided, well, we don't wear them anymore. And he was just like, you wearing a Dada jacket? And I never liked this guy. And I feel like he never liked me.
I was about to say, these don't sound like real friends.
It always felt like, you know what it was? Because my 2 best friends, Jonesy and Meady, Michael Mead, Daniel Jones, love you guys, right? My best mates growing up. I talked about how we each had the console. You know how I've talked about how we each had the console?
You have told the story.
They were a year level above me, right? So they were always a little bit older. And this new kid was their age. So I was almost just like, I'm being replaced.
It's the new hotness, to quote Will Smith.
Yeah. But that Dada jacket, that's stayed with me. I'll never forget feeling so fucking cool. It's being shut down.
I'll tell you my brand's story if you like. This is ripping open some old wounds. But I was about 14 or so, and a bunch of my friends went.
So it's 83-ish.
It's about 84.
84, yeah.
A bunch of us went to the movies. And, you're hitting 14, you're thinking, time for me to start being stylish.
You got to start that story with, what a time to be alive it was. Ghostbusters had just hit cinemas. A young Michael J. Fox was about to be Marty McFly.
It was indeed all of those things. I forgot what we went to see. It might have been Temple of Doom.
What a fucking time to be alive, though, with those movies.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, to be on the ground floor.
That's Gremlins as well, right?
That's 84? Gremlins, Ghostbusters, Temple of Doom.
Well, when was
Back to the Future was the following year.
was it 85? Was it?
Yes.
I thought it was 84. Okay, yeah, but still, great time.
But anyway, I rock up to the movies and I've got like, I was in hindsight very poorly dressed or not very well coordinated. But I had like a tie on, but the tie.
You were 14.
Yeah, but the tie did not match the shirt. I think the shoes were all wrong.
Did your friends try to dress this way, or was it just you felt like you wanted to?
I thought I was trying to be a bit sort of mid-80s casual coolish. Yeah, in the Michael J. Fox vein.
Yeah.
You'd see him on the cover of GQ or something like that. It's like, wow, he looks stylish, but
His shirt's not tucked in.
Yeah, his shirt's not tucked in, but he's wearing a tie.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around this. I'm trying to emulate this. A friend of mine just ripped the shit out of me. I mean, and in ways it's like, you know what? I actually do have this coming. I should have done the. Are you aware of the Coco Chanel rule? Have you ever heard about this? Where she's the famous fashion designer. Yeah. She would say, before you go out, look in the mirror, remove one item of apparel or whatever. Like, you probably don't need those earrings, or you probably don't need that necklace. Or whatever. Remove one thing. I should have removed everything. I should have started from scratch.
You would have caught that shit if you were naked.
Yeah. But of course, and this happens, at a formative time in one's development.
Well, I told you, it stayed with me. I would have been about 12, 13 when the starter jacket thing happened. Yeah.
Ever since then, I'm like, nope, everything's got to be color coordinated. I'm a brand guy. Keep it bland, but sort of stylish within the blandness. Yeah, it dictated the blueprint moving forward.
I think for me, that was the moment where I realized I ain't going to try and be cool anymore. I'm not going to try and wear what everyone else is wearing because I'll always be like behind the times. I'm just gonna
I did the opposite. I'm like, I've got to be cool. I've got to be cool but anonymous. I don't know. Anyway.
There was one brand that I loved to wear as a kid, and it was No Fear, it was called.
I'm aware of No Fear.
And the logo was like this weird kid with like a big eye. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like a little punk. He's like,
I know.
What are you looking at?
I love if I got No Fear shit for my birthday, I fucking loved it.
Yeah, the No Fear kid is now competing in the Olympics in the skateboarding.
Is he? Yeah.
No. But Lou and I were watching the Olympics last night, and yeah, it was skateboarding. Which is, I don't know if this is the first year for it, but yeah. But it was all the big winner of this heat, at least, was this Chinese girl who looked like she was about 10.
Good for her.
Oh yeah, I mean she did great. Yeah,
we last night, I haven't watched anything yet, but I paid the $15 in Stan to get this unlimited. I'm like, these ads and these replays are just shit on free-to-air TV.
We flirted with the idea.
Yeah,
but then either of us are like, I don't know if we're that invested in the Olympics.
I'm like, it's $15, one time only, and I get to watch any sport live whenever I want, on demand.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about the Olympics.
Enough about the Olympics and our fashion faux pas of the past. Yeah, but do we know where Token's coming from? We do, to some degree.
We do indeed, yes. But I definitely do relate to the poor kids a lot more. But they're in the supermarket and they feel like fish out of water. And everyone's, oh my God, is that what's their last name?
It's Williams, right?
Is it Williams? Yeah. By the way, we say Token. It's Tolkien.
True.
That's retconned. I know they pronounce it Token. It's like, that's one of those changes where I went, I don't think we needed to do that.
True. I always thought that the character's surname was Black and that his name was Token Black.
Is it not that?
Well, if their surname's Williams, when they kept talking, they allude to the name Williams a couple of times in this episode.
So I was going to open up his wiki page just to confirm his last name. So Token's last name is his alias is Tupperware, apparently. I don't know why.
No, it's like, I'm sorry, does that say citation needed?
No, it doesn't. It's on the...
I would need some community notes on this.
In universe information, alias Tupperware. Oh, no, his last name is Black. Family, Linda, Steve, Black. Token Black. I don't think I'm mistaken that they use the name Williams in this, but maybe they're referring to someone else. Will Smith? Maybe you get confused with Wills?
I don't think I did.
Yeah,
I never get confused.
Anyway, Token Black. That's what I always thought it was Token Black as well.
Likewise. Well, yeah, we've either solved a mystery or uncovered a whole new one here.
But they realise they don't fit in here, so they're going to leave.
Correct.
Token then arrives in average clothes at school with his Lion King DVD. Now, this is dated. We can't afford a DVD player. No one can afford a DVD player.
I think we were all getting pretty into the whole DVD revolution by 2001. Do you remember when you had your first one?
Yeah, 2000 was when we got our DVD player, and it cost like $600, $700.
Yeah, I remember.
Not everyone had them in 2001.
No. I mean, you had to be an early adopter, and you had to be someone who liked watching movies at home. Thought, time to take the next step.
That's why Sony, one of the greatest things they ever did, like, hey, our PlayStation 2 plays DVDs. Everyone's like, oh, you guys win.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I can buy a console for my kid and it be a DVD player. Sony won the video game war right then.
Well done, Sony. Good for you.
But yeah, so I remember the first DVD player we got was a what's the brand that starts with P?
Philips?
No,
Panasonic.
no, not Panasonic. It was a really popular brand too.
Palomino? No, that's my safe word.
That is your safe word. Oh shit, it's gonna bother me. Anyway,
I'm only thinking of Philips and Panasonic. They're the only ones that I can remember that start with a P.
DVD brands start
That's
with P.
God, the internet's got everything, doesn't it?
Pioneer.
Ah.
It was a Pioneer DVD player, and the DVD that came with it was Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. I'm trying to think that because they initially came with 3 DVDs, didn't they?
Yeah, ours was Dumb and Dumber.
I think mine might have been Gladiator.
Yeah, that was very, very popular at the time. Dumb and Dumber, and I remember we bought a DVD player because Dad got some sort of payout from work or some tax payout, whatever, and we got that and an 80-centimeter television all at the same time.
What?
I was like, kids were coming to my house to watch TV on the 80 I remember, I'll never forget putting the TV on and putting Fox on. I'm like, look how big the Simpsons are! 80 centimeters. It's amazing.
How big is that in inches? I mean, because I think it's about like 40 something, maybe less.
80 centimeters into inches is 31 inches.
Okay then.
Yeah, but it's also square, not rectangle, so it's different sort of measurement.
Things are so much better now.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
like the idea of having like a 75-inch TV is just commonplace now. Where
Yeah.
back in it felt like the way of the future back in 2001, didn't it? But yeah, Dad rocked up with his Pioneer DVD and his 80-centimeter television. It was just like a new world. Yeah, felt very cool.
Yeah.
We felt rich.
My generation gap version of this is when Dad brought home a
VHS.
the VHS.
Yeah.
And a VHS of Star Wars.
Kids, you need to understand how groundbreaking it was to be able to watch one of your favorite movies and skip to your favorite scene. Chapters was insanity, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
No tracking, skip chapters, special features. You could watch trailers.
Have the audio commentary.
Yeah, but if that sort of even came a bit later, I reckon. I feel like at the first it was just like movie, chapter selection, couple of trailers.
I think the early one, the Gladiator certainly had commentary on
Did it really?
Because, in the age of Laserdisc as well, I mean, they had commentary.
Did they know shit?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I've been looking at Laserdisc and I'm like, I know I'll never play them, but like, fuck, the covers are cool. Like, they look like records. I'm just like, these covers are awesome. Because there's a guy in Geelong, he was selling 50 Laserdiscs for $50, and I was like, I feel like I should do this. Because he had Jurassic Park in there, and I was like, I want Jurassic Park in Laserdisc. I'm like, I don't have a Laserdisc player. Nicola's like, you don't need it. I'm like, I know I don't need it.
Yes. Look, I must admit, I've got to be Team Nicola on this one.
Oh, man. But anyway, so they're not fitting in. And he's rocked up with his Lion King DVD. They make fun of him. It's not too expensive for Tolkien's rich-ass family. And they make the gag about going to the Enterprise. And
when I saw that scene when I was watching this episode, I was like, that seems familiar. That line delivery sounds familiar. And then I realised they were advertising like Comedy Central stuff on other DVDs, like for whatever.
It's funny how little commercials stay with
they actually had that scene.
Did they?
Like, no, let's can afford damn DVD players. It's like then they had the voiceover go, actually, we've all got DVD players now, and you can check out. I think it was Chappelle's show.
Yeah,
that had the ad before it, and you can check out these particular programs on DVD. It's like, but yeah, the head comes out. Yeah, no, there's DVD players. It's like, yeah, we can actually.
But Token doesn't know what a VHS is, and I'm thinking, would know what a VHS is.
That's wrong.
That was wrong.
That's a mistake.
This guy knows what a VHS is.
Of course.
Yes. DVDs were new at this point. Didn't watch movies when he was a child.
Yeah.
Come on, that was a bit silly, I thought. And he starts singing the song, which
it was a pretty bland song.
It was
by Parker and Stone standards. I thought.
Well, we're so used to very Broadway-esque da da da.
Well, even when they do like a maudlin sort of "woe is me" song, it generally has a little bit more oomph and imagination than this one. This didn't quite cut it for mine.
At least the song here did further the story, though.
It did. That's a good point. And I must admit, I did get a laugh. I'm assuming he did it during the song, that he was skipping stones on the lake, except he was pulling coins out of his dollar coin collection. throwing them onto the lake.
But he says, yeah, please God, send more rich kids to my town. And in fact, we get the sort of the pan out and see his mansion compared to all their little houses. Then Will and Jada, well, he makes the ad for South Park in the Forbes magazine.
Forbes,
yeah. And Will and Jada, which is oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, when you say Forbes, you have to say it as
Forbes.
Forbes.
Why?
It's one of my favorite line readings from Die Hard. When Alan Rickman is with, I think it's Takagi. So, I read about it in Forbes. It's like, Alan Rickman, what a king. Taken far too fucking soon.
But they see the ad for South Park in there. You finally get to live like a cowboy.
I don't know. Is that a dig at Wild Wild West, do you think?
I reckon it must have been. And I reckon his $20 million thing must have been a dig at Wild Wild West as well. Yeah.
Just make the movie, Daddy.
I love that. Come here, horses. Oh, can we, Daddy? Token greets them when they arrive in town. You shall be our new playmate. Come, little boy. Show us how to play your mountain games. That's what Token explains here. Some kids have no money and some do. Where did all their money go?
No.
Well, they never really had any money.
Why don't their daddy make another movie?
Yes, this is where we had the $20 million discussion.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What was the name of the homeschooled family again? I've forgotten.
The mantle.
Yes, but
the Cotswolds.
Cotswolds, yes, with the mantle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, where were they here?
That's a really...
Because were they rich or were they just upper class? They were like germaphobes and stuff, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were snooty, but they weren't rich.
That's right.
I mean, you sort of just assume snootiness means rich, but they didn't sort of play out the rich aspect.
No, it was more like snootiness was more in terms of like, well, we're betting it because we care about our children more.
Yeah.
To educate them in this at home.
Will Smith then calls, I've got snoo, but whatever. Just the singing and then just, oh, hey, man. Hey, Will.
Plus dreadful rap lyrics about this chick had an innie, so I filled it with my Jimmy.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Snoop, what are you up to?
But he says he's going to call Magic and Kobe as well, because they're both looking for vacation properties as well.
Indeed, rip Kobe.
Yep. Goes back to his singing voice once again. Now the townspeople are looking on as all these riches, is that what they call them, move in.
Well, you know what kind of people? Rich people.
Yeah, rich people. So they're playing it up. You watch it going,
they're calling them rich.
Just say it. You know what you're trying to do here.
Well, even the word riches.
Yeah.
Sounds a little...
exactly.
It sounds uncomfortably close to...
100%, that's what it was trying to do. Yeah. I do love the way they ended it with Garrison, because they guarantee that Garrison, of all the townspeople, he's the one that he's the perfect character to choose to have that line at the end. But there's always going to be an element of racism in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how long down the line Parker and Stone were looking with all this Garrison stuff, because, eventually he does the whole... becomes president. He's very much a Trump sort of stand-in.
Right wing, yeah.
Yeah, are they planting the seeds for that here, or...
I think he's always been this way, right?
Yeah, I think he's always just been intolerant.
A piece of shit.
Yeah, because of this degree of self-denial and
self-loathing. Yeah,
that he has.
Yeah, he hates himself, so he hates the word as well. Wants to bring them down. But just, South Park's being overrun by those times. And I remember when they weren't allowed here. Now they've been mixing their kids with our pure non-rich kids. So they start calling them riches. And I liked here too, it's with racism comes jokes. And how many rich people does it take to screw in a light bulb? It's like, oh shit. You know what's sad is I used to make jokes about, race when I was a kid. And it was just normal. It felt normal. And now I look back and go, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, I mean...
I used to tell these jokes at parties and get laughs. And I'm thinking, what's going on?
Yeah, not to excuse it, but this is the way things were. I mean,
It's
look,
insane.
You're a child. You don't know any better.
No, I didn't.
But you're also a product of the environment and the times and the climate that you're in.
Yeah. I love the fact now that when Elliot goes to school, whatever, they do the welcome to country sort of thing, and Elliot understands it. He sees he calls it the Wathaurong flag, because Wathaurong is the Geelong local. It's not tribe. Tribe's not the right word.
Well, I don't know if
people,
white folks like us are allowed to use the term mob. Apparently it's common usage among Indigenous people, but at the same time,
it's at the
same time,
their group.
There's a very Indigenous folks aren't necessarily going to say, "Hey, we're a monolith. We don't all think the same things." Different tribes, different mobs, different people, whatever, have probably got different attitudes about things.
The Indigenous people of Geelong were called Wathaurong country, basically. So he calls it it's the Wathaurong flag. And I'm like, I'm not going to correct him yet and confuse him more, but it's just lovely that he doesn't see it. He's seeing it the way I should have seen it as a kid.
Sure.
I'm just glad the way Elliot sees the world now. makes me realize we have taken steps in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly in Australia, at least, anyway. But then Oprah, she's arrived with her... Oh, no, Oprah's newly adopted kids arrived
That's
first.
right.
I don't think we haven't seen Oprah yet. But Dominique and Zizi, and then P. Diddy Mini, Puffy Mini Size, and Puffa Diddy Diddy Puff Fun Size. Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Shit bloke.
Not a good guy.
No, not at all. But, this should be one of my favourite moments. So Token suggests sledding. They go, no, we're going to go shopping. Shopping! Kobe and pals then are walking to the bar. And they get them nice expensive beers across the road for you guys.
Well, sometimes you just want cheap beer.
Yes, we just want cheap beer. And didn't you read the sign? For people living below their means. So this is where they're feeling like, oh, fuck you guys then. And Garrison suggests they set a fire at their house with a lowercase t, which stands for time to leave. So was the whole joke here being that Garrison was actually doing it just because he was a racist the entire time? And hiding behind the...
I reckon so,
yeah. Okay, that's got to be it, right?
Yeah.
But Kobe sees the tea burning at the front of his house and he knows time to leave. Next time it's a capital T to show we mean it. Then what's the game with the horses and the ball?
That's polo.
It's polo. I was like, is it because croquet is where you hit it standing up, right?
Yes.
And polo's on the horse. But this was just so fun to see, wasn't it? Like this just so they're making fun of him now, like the poor kids made fun of him, so you feel like he's left out. But Token sees the kids like Cartman kicking Kenny in the nuts. It's like that's just what you did. Just I didn't do it, but it's just like poor kids. You just find ways to have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. You'd go wreck an abandoned house.
Yes.
Or, yeah, something like that.
But Token suggests a barbaric snowball fight, and they suggest you go live with the lions if you want to do that. And he realizes he doesn't fit in anywhere. Then we get Cosby, which another shit bloke.
There's a lot of these guys are just turning out to be bad news.
Will Smith, kind of a shit bloke.
I'm gonna hazard to guess confused.
Yeah. But
Deep in the weeds of a midlife crisis.
Token's now with the lions at the zoo. They're licking their lips, and you're thinking, what's going on here? This is weird.
Yes, this is an odd tangent, an odd subplot that really doesn't add anything to the story. But I feel like they had written themselves into a corner, and sometimes, there's that idea in writers, best idea wins. This is just like, this idea will do.
Yeah, I guess they maybe just enjoyed doing the Aslan voice, maybe?
Possibly. And just the goofiness of lions being, clowns.
Yeah, it was odd. But Chef is shoveling snow at the front, singing the song. They hear them, we shall persevere, we shall persevere. They say they're going to be doing the Millionaires March. And Chef says, well, I'm not rich. Huh? What if we give you $100? Sure. So
Fudge that snow.
Yes. So now Token is eating raw meat like a lion, and the kid walks past and looks at the little black lion mummy, and he roars at the lion, and it's just a weird... there's not really much to say here, honestly.
Doesn't have much. Let's just skate past that one.
Yeah, you need to see Aslan if you want to become a lion. So they say they'll let him stay if he pulls a thorn out of the foot, and they do the fart gag, and that's pretty much it. There's not really much there. But it's a news report here on the march, and it's going to be a lot of people because they paid several thousand Mexicans to march for them. And if we can't fight the rich folk, then we'll spook about.
Spook being a loaded term as well. But it's a shame because it's always fun to say spooky ghosts.
That's exactly right. Well, you can't have a ghost. There's got to be a spooky ghost.
It's got to be spooky ghosts.
Yes. So,
but then it's like, we'll scare them out because what are they afraid of? Ghosts. Like, I see where this is going.
Yes.
No.
So Token doesn't fit in with the lions either, and calls him his young lion apprentice. What's going on? He says, I learned something today that I like my old friends better than... I like the old friends the most. And it's like, what, you couldn't realize that when you were hanging out with those shit rich kids? Anyway, we've already discussed that. Aslan offers to let him go. If he tries to stick a gum, he doesn't want to, but he does it anyway, and they all laugh. And that's it.
It's got the little mousetrap gum that snaps on his
Waste
finger.
of time, really, that bit, isn't it? But at the march, and the mayor is now saying that we're going to be a more accepting town and not a town of prejudice or bigotry. And then, ooh, all the ghosts arrive, and she's just like, oh my God. But it works.
Love the Garrison's got a Mr. Hat ghost as well.
Yeah, what do you think of the term hainted?
I know, right?
It's hainted. This town's hainted. I didn't know. So the kids now offer Token to play football, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, well, you're our friend, right? He's like, oh, I thought you guys didn't like me because you always rip on me. And that's their explanation here is 100% what it is.
Absolutely.
We're dudes. We just hang shit on each other.
To use a phrase of the modern times, it's our love language.
Yes, that's what we do. But you know what? Since you took it to heart, now you're pussy.
So, happy ending?
So,
I guess, yeah.
By the way, one of the kids was dragging Kenny dead on a skateboard here.
I don't remember when he died or how he died.
Was he just dead from the previous episode?
Had we seen him in anything?
I can't remember. I thought I must have missed him dying.
I think we saw him in playing in the front yard of his house. Wasn't dead.
Yeah, it was weird.
But I don't recall seeing him die through this episode. So, again, I think we've reached this point where it's like, Kenny's going to die. So, hey, we don't even have to show him being killed. It's just he died off camera because that's what happens in a South Park episode. Actually, the next episode of Going Down to South Park, we shall be reviewing the episode which is called Kenny Dies. So maybe this was like a little, because right at the very end, maybe this was like a little seed plant. Yeah.
For the next episode.
And the next episode, Kenny Dies, will be
Kenny didn't die. I didn't see him die. Everyone's talking about it.
And now
Kenny
find
dies.
out how and why.
Maybe in the next episode. 'Cause I can't recall Kenny Dies.
Me neither, but this is a good excuse for everyone out there to tune into the next episode of Going Down to South Park, where all will be explained.
All will be explained next week.
By your pals Dando and Guy.
Yes. And if you are a supporter of us on Patreon, you could already be listening to that review.
You keep messing my head with this time travel business. I feel like I'm in Interstellar.
Garrison says, now we can sell all their homes and become millionaires. And they say, well, that defeats the purpose of us sending them away in the first place. You just become everything that you hate. Yeah, but at least you got rid of all them. That's the end of the episode.
Well, you got half a terrible word.
Yes. So it was very, very important to end the episode that way to sort of showcase, some people are just shit blokes.
Yeah.
There's no way racism doesn't exist in South Park.
And guess what? Shit blokes, there's a spectrum of them.
Exist everywhere.
Everywhere in every shade.
Yes. So, yeah, another fantastic episode, except for the lion part, which felt a bit weird. It just felt shoehorned in for no reason.
We're removing a point, maybe a point and a half. You get a check minus for the... Actually, no, you get a check.
Yeah.
You're not check plus episode.
But
nor are you check minus. You are in the middle.
Can it be a check plus minus, like between check and check plus?
You're confusing the issue, man.
I really enjoyed just all the celebrities and whatnot. Looking back in 2024, having them voiced by white guys is kind of problematic, but I guess that's just South Park to a T, right?
It is.
South Park is problematic.
It's absurd, and it is problematic, and I think it wears its P on its lapel quite proudly.
Yeah.
The P stands for proudly problematic.
All right, well, that is our review of Here Comes the Neighborhood. The next episode, as we just discussed just before, is Kenny Dies, which I'm assuming is the episode where we lose Kenny full-time for a while, because Kenny leaves the show.
That is correct.
I guess this must be the one, because he gets replaced with, is it Butters or is it Tweak?
Have we already had the Tweak stuff where they try to make Tweak a bit more of a central character? And
hopefully it's Butters, because Butters is way more enjoyable.
I think they... Well, look, where are we now? We're 12 episodes into Season 5. I think they've recognised by this stage, it's like we tried to make the Tweak thing happen.
It didn't
Tweak
work.
is very, very good in... Not even very good, but he's good in small doses.
It's one note, though.
He's a one-note gag.
Yeah.
You do it once or twice a season and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas Butters is the gift that keeps on giving. It's like cooking. The more butter, the better.
Well, it'd be smart if it does become Butters, because they've been planting seeds throughout the entire season of just making him more sympathetic, like his parents treating him like shit, and things never seem to go his way. He tries so hard, and the world is always against him. You just got to love Butters, right?
It feels like they've been soft launching him.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Just sort of constantly including him in scenes and giving him good lines, and So hopefully it's Butters. But next episode of Going Down to South Park, we shall be doing Kenny Dies. Don't forget, guys, to, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and you can also continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you do listen to this show. And if you can, also please try and support us on Patreon as well. It helps get the lights on here at Four Finger Discount Network. If you are already aware, we do this show, Four Finger Discount, covering The Simpsons. I do the one about Friends with my wife, Nicola. We also do exclusive for Patreon. We do Talking Seinfeld, Speaking of the Hill, and Tales of Futurama, as well as Movie Guys reviews as well. Now, the first few seasons of all those shows, except for Futurama, so the first 3 seasons of Talking Seinfeld is available for free. If you want to go check it out, and if you want to hear more, you can support us on Patreon, as well as Speaking of the Hill. The first season is available for free. Check it out. If you want to hear more, support us on Patreon.
That was some incredible spruiking. I was just mesmerised. Looking, wow, look at him go.
And that's your turn to talk, because that's been our review of Here Comes the Neighborhood. So any final words for those amazing listeners, Mr. Davis?
Mr. Dando, I just want to get out of here so I can go play my mountain games.